this is a session for you offer holders who have met the requirements for joining the MSc, and we are really glad to welcome you to this kind of second open day. We've got a short presentation for you. I don't know how many of you were at the last open day session that we did, but we wanted to make some time and space to answer your questions and have a bit of a conversation later. Okay, if there's a few more coming, Kriti, then I think we will make a start, but we'll do so slowly. So yes, we've got a short presentation for you. We want to make plenty of time to answer your questions and queries and explain things that you're not sure about. With us today we have myself, Tim Adlam. I'm co-directing with Kathy Holloway, who's on the video sharing as well. There she's waving. We also have Yongju Cho, who is running the module on making and research methods. And we have Miko Correa from London Loughborough, who is leading the design thinking modules in the first and second terms. So we're all available to answer your questions. We've got a good crowd of people now. That's great. Okay, let's get going with this. On to the next slide. Okay, thank you for coming. Okay, so yes, here's the team. Ian McKinnon is the other person that we haven't introduced yet. He is teaching the inclusive design module in term 2 with an emphasis on the built environment as well. So he will be bringing his expertise in leading accessibility at the Olympic Park in London to that module, with a course that's very much integrated into the park and using that as an exemplar. Okay, we have Miko Correa and Antonius are running the design thinking and the collaborative project in term 2. Edwin Ferry is leading the business part of the course, also in term 2, and Aisha is our centre manager and our administrator for the course. She is online with us as well. So let's dive in. This is the entrance where we hope that you'll be arriving on the Olympic Park where the GDI hub is based. And this is a 2012 building from the Olympics and Paralympics, and it's a good place to work. It's a nice environment. We're going to put together a short video over the next few weeks, just showing you around a bit, and just so you can get a bit of a better idea of the interior as well. So, but we'll get that done soon, and we can send that to you. Send you a link. Okay. If you want to ask questions in the text as we go along, please do so, and I will attempt to answer those as we go. Before the MSc starts proper, beginning of the teaching term is beginning of October. There is an induction week before that. Prior to the induction week, we're running a summer course, which will be online with some contact time. So it is a fixed period of time as to when that's running. The idea of that summer course really is to provide a baseline for everybody. We're going to run that with an hour's contact time per day for a week, and we'll be teaching you an overview of the whole of the MSc within that period. We'll have the lectures for that on video, but we want to have time with you during that period as well. Not for a huge amount of time, we're just looking at an hour a day for that first week. And then in the second week, we would like you to do a little research project, which we will introduce to you at the end of the first week. And that's something that's manageable that you can do at home or wherever you happen to be. And then at the end of the second week, we'll learn about what each other has found, and we'll learn. I saw your message, Al. We'll learn what we've found out and share that at the end of the week. So by contact time, that won't be face to face, but it'll be. I think at the moment I'm planning on using Connect like this. Make sure we get the links right. So that would be. Depends how many people we get on the course. It's not compulsory, but we would recommend that people do it. And we would certainly be having chat time like this on text. If it's not too huge a group, then we would be able to do that by video conference as well. So we shall see. But, does that answer your question, Al? That's great. Okay, right, next bit. Okay, term dates. So the first term, these are UCL dates, is 23rd of September, that's when induction starts, to the 13th of December at the end of the term. There is a reading week in the middle as well, which we suggest that you use for some reading, and also you'll have some project work that you could probably usefully do within that period as well. So yes, that's the 4th of November is the beginning of that reading week in the middle. And we've split the main global technologies module either side of that reading week. So before the reading week is the principal talk content and the lecture time. After that reading week, then we're having a more workshop-based curriculum where we're looking at some case studies, and we'll be learning together through exploring those case studies. Okay, let's just keep going. Term 2 is you see the dates for there as well, and third term as well. You can see that. Okay, right. So the course details. So this is the structure of the course. So term 1, we have a 30-credit module, which is Future Global Technologies for Disability and Development. This is a very broad module that covers technologies. It covers some content about disability rights, about active citizenship, and about rights-based models and ways of thinking about disability and technology together. So I'll be leading that module, and Kathy will also be making significant contribution to that as well. We also then in term 1 we have the design thinking module from Loughborough London, which Antonius is leading with Miko. And that is a module that is about how to think and how to solve complex problems. Your skills you will learn in that module are applicable to a very wide range of problems. They're not just about product design, they're much broader than that. And there's some project work to do within that module too. It's a very much a learn as you practice based approach with that. And then the other module that's running during term 1 is the research methods of making, which Young-Jun Cho is leading. And that will be providing you with skills and knowledge of how to do research, of how to approach people, how to find out the things that you need to know, and also practical skills on how to make things as well. We appreciate some of you will probably have great practical making skills, and some of you may not. So we want to bring everybody up to a reasonable level to be able to do that. So then term 2, we have the Applied Business and Marketing Strategy module, which Edwin Ferry is running, and this will give you the skills on how to create, design and develop business approaches to delivering the things that people need. And again, he will be looking at a number of case studies and examples and working through those with you in parallel with some lectures from internal and some external speakers as well. Also in term 2, then we have the second part of the design content with Loughborough London, and that's the collaborative unit. This is a previously established module where you will be working with people in the community and building a larger project yourselves, and working with people to do that. And the Loughborough people will coach you through that process and help you to understand the skills and the tools and methods that you need for that.
It will be done by an industry partner.
So Nico's just reminding me that that's with an industrial partner, so it's not something that's entirely internal within UCL or Loughborough. And then we also have then 3 options which you can do in term 2 as well. So you can choose one of these. We have accessibility and assistive technology, which Kathy Holloway is leading. That is, again, a reasonably broad course with some significant HCI content in it, if that's what you're interested in. And again, there's a mini project within that, and we'd be taking a practice-based approach to learning again. We have a course on disability and development, and that's looking more at the kind of international development context of disability and experience of life for disabled people, the international development context, and ways and knowledge that you need to be able to work in that, and what makes it perhaps different from a more developed context that many of us would be more familiar with, although not all. And then lastly, we have the Inclusive Design and Environments module, and this is led by Ian McKinnon. And this is based upon his experience leading the accessibility around the Olympic Park in London for the Paralympics and Olympics. But he will be teaching inclusive design methods and teaching an approach to inclusive design based upon the built environment. So you'll be learning about inclusive design methods, but also learning about how to design environments that are inclusive, and how to design places and the infrastructure that they need for them to be suitable for a really broad range of people with different abilities. And then lastly, in term 3, we have a dissertation, which is work that you go and do yourself. And we are really keen to look at a good range of projects here. We would like to discuss with you what your dissertation is going to be well in advance, and think about how that can best be assessed, and think about what kind of work you want to produce. That could be anything from, it could be an artifact, it could be a policy document, it could be a long dissertation, it could be some design work or service design. There's a huge range of things that you could do for that dissertation. We would like to support you in those things, and we will also have some examples of things that you could pick up and do yourselves and do with us as well. So that's something to discuss in terms 1 and 2, and be thinking well in advance about what you want to do for that. And so which we will then be assessing flexibly as well. Okay, next slide. My laptop seems to want to go to sleep. Yes, that's the end. No, I don't think it was the end. Right. Can you still hear me? Okay. Oh, there we are. It's advanced. You've done it. Can we go back one, Kathy? I seem to have lost the focus for this thing. Okay. So I'm going to explain these without advancing the slides, which is what I should have done. So I'm just going to run through these quickly, because I've talked about these already. Okay. So yes, the foundations of disability innovation. This is about skills and knowledge and understanding disability and technology. We will share these slides with you afterwards as well. I think we should send these to you. Research methods and making. That's very much about skills and how to find things out. Design thinking. This is about design thinking tools, which are broadly applicable, and problem-based learning there. Collaborative unit, that's the follow-on from the design thinking, doing a project with industry. Applied business and marketing strategy, how to create a business, how to create something that may not be a business but that can deliver services that are needed. And the dissertation. So we'll be looking for a portfolio from you on the dissertation, and we want to talk to you about what that might be. Okay, so here's just another little thing about environment. Here's a map of where you can find us. At Here East. Here East is a lovely new building. It's a good place to work. It's pretty accessible as well, and we have our spaces Timetable. We've got a really nice lecture theatre for presenting, and some good seminar space as well. So we're looking forward to meeting you there. And Timetable. So some of you might have some questions about a bit more details. This is term 1. You can see we've got reasonably full days on Monday and Tuesday. So Monday is research methods and making. Tuesday is the future global technologies for disability and development. Wednesday is a gap. You'll have plenty of work. And then Thursday and Friday we've got design thinking for you to do there. Okay, term 2 is a bit different. So Tuesday we have the accessibility and assistive technology module with Kathy Holloway. Wednesday is the applied business and marketing. Now, with Edwin Ferry, this is this is a different location to all of the other content, which is at Here East. And this one is taught at the London College of Fashion in central London, but that is a whole day, so you're not having to switch sites during the day. And then Thursday is the collaborative unit with Loughborough London, also at Here East, but on the Loughborough campus. Term 3 is a bit more flexible. We've got space at Here East for you to work in, but there's not timetabled time every week in terms of content for that. We would just be looking at making sure we have some contact time with you as project supervisors to make sure that you're progressing and everything's going as you would like. So here's the location for the London College of Fashion for the business module, which is in central London. Okay, deadlines. There's lots of project work in this MSc, but we have made a real effort to try and balance and stagger the deadlines on this, so you haven't got everything due all at once. That's for your benefit because it means you can concentrate on things and not be swamped by work, and it also helps us as well because we don't have all the marking to do at once either. So it's not perfect for anybody, but I think which is something that we have spent some time on, and we've tried to make it work with having enough time to cover the content that we need, but trying to balance when the deadlines fall as well. So don't panic about that. Leo, you've got a question? Yes, I think we can email the presentation. That's fine. Okay, next slide. Okay, have we got any other questions whilst we're here? Anybody else got the question? Okay, we also have Youngjung, Miko and Edwin and Kathy in the room. Have you, whilst we're seeing if any of you have got any questions, have you got any comments or things that you'd like to add to what we've said so far?
I have a question for everybody, which is more about, I've got my video on, okay, so which is more about, oh, hang on.
Use this mic, Kathy.
Yeah. It's recording. Sorry, it's more about how you guys, like, what your backgrounds are and what you think you would like to learn on this course. So why were you attracted to the course in the first place? Silence. I'm going to ask Chris that.
Yeah. Katie, the question was, what is it that, yes, why were you interested in the course and how did you find out about it? What drew you to it?
While we wait for the answers, the reason I asked the question is that in the last open day conversation, we realised that a lot of people are coming from very different backgrounds. So with the applications that people who have accepted are coming from a built environment background, they're coming from design background, and fashion background, medical background. And actually the conversations between you all is really interesting and exciting, because there's still common threads between everybody's experience as to how you want to help change the world to make it more inclusive. So, Tim, do you want to take that question from Leo?
Yep, summer course, Leo. No, it's not compulsory. You don't have to do it. But because this is a very multidisciplinary course and people tend not to have a background in all of the disciplines that we're covering, which is why they're doing the MSc, we would strongly recommend that people do it. There's two main reasons for running it. One of them is about giving you that baseline, a common baseline of understanding of the subject area within the course and the MSc, so that everyone understands something about the whole space. So it gives us language to be able to have a conversation together and understand what we're talking about to a degree. But it's also there to just try and build a bit of community between us as well, so that we get to know one another a bit, so that we're not complete strangers on the first day and so on. And so it has two purposes. It's about building some common language and about introducing us to one another as well. Yes, Kriti, I think that is, that's what, for you, that's what this course is about. And for you, that would be complementing your skills in psychology with technical skills and enable you to think and work in a technological solution space and not just in a kind of human intervention space as perhaps you would be at the moment. Do you want to take that one, Kathy?
So if you're at Babylon Health, I think that's a really exciting space. And I think a lot of people who come to we have a standard MSc in human-computer interaction at UCL, and the people who take my module on accessibility and assistive technology, many of the people have been working in industry for a few years and have reached the conclusion that the problem with much of the digital accessibility problems stem from the fact that it's an add-on. And actually, interestingly, there's a lot to be learned from Ian McKinnon's work in the built environment on how the legacy programme of the Olympics and Paralympic Games in London managed to make accessibility be part of everything. So it was in procurement standards that went out to people. You wouldn't get paid if the accessibility wasn't delivered, and so there's a lot of interdisciplinary work that I think we can learn from, and case studies that we can learn from. But fundamentally, I agree with you, Shubham, about how we need to make sure that accessibility is standardised, and also that we find ways to help developers do it, because I think a lot of people do want to do it. It's just in the many things that they have to do, they're not sure how to fit it in. So we need to find ways to better help them.
Okay. Do we have any more comments or questions? Oh, hi Al, how many people will be on the course? Well, I hope that all of you will join the course. At the moment, I think we can say that we have 18 people that have accepted offers, and we hope that all of them will join us. And so we don't know exactly. You know, sometimes people don't go from accepting offers and don't take those offers up. But I would be expecting something in that region of numbers. We don't know for sure.
I suspect it will be between 20 and 25 in the first year, because we've got another 20 people that are yet to accept offers. So I suspect that a few people who've accepted offers won't come for visa reasons, for various reasons, and then a few people who are in those 20 that are yet to accept the offer will accept. So I suspect it will be somewhere between 20 and 25 in the previous experience.
So it's not huge. It's small enough that we can get to know people well and work with you and make sure that your experience of the course is what you need. Well, I don't have any advice on part-time jobs. I think you will have significant amounts of project work to do. I think we need to think about that as to whether we make recommendations. In the end, really, that's for you to look at your timetabling, and we can provide some guidance on the hours that we're looking for project work and work away from the classroom, which would help you make that decision. But that is up to you really as to how much you want to do with work like that. Workshop space, yes, we do have some workshop space for making things.
Just a quick point on the work fund. If you enter the UK on a visa outside the European Union, then there is a restriction on how many hours you can work, which I think is 16? 20 is it? It's gone to 20 now. 20 a month, is it?
20 hours per week.
20 hours per week, so you can't work more than that. And we tend to take that as a general rule for everybody, that that's quite a good. If you do more than 20 hours a week, you probably don't have enough time to do your dissertation or your master's coursework.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Did anybody else here wish in the room with me? Do you any of you want to make any further comments on the course?
We've got 2 more questions.
Oh, 2 questions.
Yeah.
Okay. So the course from how far are we from Euston Square?
30 minutes.
Yeah,
Door to door.
it depends. It depends how you get there. So if I cycle from near Euston Square to here east, that takes me, depending on the traffic lights and everything, about 35 to 40 minutes. It's a pleasant ride through quiet streets and down the towpath by the canal, or you can take the train. There's some options on the trains depending on how much you want to spend and so on. But yes, it's somewhere between half an hour to 40 minutes, that kind of time. And is the workshop space specifically for students in this course, or do we have to share? It's a mixture of MSc space and shared space.
So it's so the new Here East building, like Tim said, we're just getting the video sorted so you can see it. But the new Here East building is a small, relatively small for UCL, self-contained unit, which is only hosting about 4 master's projects at the moment, or programs at the moment. And those 4 programs will share the main workshop. Now, the main workshop is very big. It's called Be Made. It has a variety of things like laser cutters and band saws and 3D printers. And then we have a smaller space, which is just GDI Hub shared with a couple of the other smaller research teams here that work on health and computer science. And that has 3D printers and then basic electronics, and that is pretty much just yours to use with the PhD students from those groups. And then there's some dedicated workspace for you. So it's quite flexible, and it's definitely better provided for than when you're at the main campus, which is a little bit oversubscribed at the moment. I think one of the things to realise is that in terms of getting from Euston Square to here, is that I think people will most likely spend maybe a day a week in Central Campus, especially in term 2 if you're doing a module there, but you might go there to meet friends and do some socialising, maybe use the new student space. But I do think that most people, when they start coming out to Here East, they become part of the Here East family, which includes Loughborough, includes Plexel, it includes BT Sport. There's lots of, it's kind of like a mini campus, and people seem to really enjoy being here.
Okay, let's cover these in order. So L, how much is group work and how much individual? It's a blend, and so in the Future Global Technologies, there's a blend of a group project and an individual project. Miko, would you be able to comment on the design thinking as to the blend between group and individual work?
Overall, the design thinking is based on a lot of it is based on group work, and the idea is that you would really want to capture the different knowledge that the group members have, usually interdisciplinary and people coming from different areas. Teams are quite good in digging out the essence of the problems that we have at hand, and thus group work is the basis on which we do design thinking exercises. So the design thinking typically focuses on an understanding of the design challenges that are there from various perspectives. So it could be marketing, it could be business, it could be engineering. So many different perspectives into that. And the idea is to draw connections. Thus group work is the basis on what one wants to do that. Yeah.
Did you have anything to add on that, Edwin?
Hi, everyone. I mean, in terms of the applied and business marketing strategy, I think the group work would be some of the members of your course will be used for small research groups. So, for example, when you begin to formulate your ideas, you may have to work in small groups. That's pretty much as research groups, although at the end of the day, the information you collect within those groups will be used in the individual projects. The submission is through individual projects.
Yeah. Youngjun wants to add as well.
Yeah, given the nature of my course, research method and computing making skills, this module is meant to be learning for kind of fundamentals and basics of research method, how we can conduct research and how we can make prototypes to deliver kind of research problem, kind of solutions. So this will be based on individual project. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the dissertation is individual work as well in term 3. Okay. Yes, individual personal desk space. No, we don't have allocated desk space per person. We do have table space where people can work, but there's not enough space within Here East for us to allocate an individual desk to each student.
But that's also not a policy for UCL. So UCL doesn't offer a desk space per MSc student. We have, for example, the brand new, just won some awards, Student Study Centre in Central Campus, which has over 1,000 spaces for students. There are a number of spaces, but they are shared, so you guide the spaces that you use.
Perhaps a general mention is that the individual desks does not seem to be a UK standard.
Yeah.
Not even for staff.
No, so we share desk space too.
Office
So,
space, hot desk.
that's that's how it works.
We can probably finish up now. You're very welcome to send Aisha some any follow-up questions you might have, and we will respond via email. Aisha is the best place to send emails to, and then she will kind of get the information from us and be your point of contact. But it's been lovely talking to you all. Thank you for making the time. Sorry about the mix-up at the beginning; it was a bit odd. But hopefully you got everything that you need, and we'll make sure the presentation and the recording goes out to everybody. Okay?
Yep. You are welcome. Yes, you are welcome to email and ask further questions if you have them, and we will do our very best to answer those for you. Yep. Thank you for coming. It's been good to meet some of you, or meet all of you, and meet some of the people that are going to be on the course. Okay, thank you all very much. That's great.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So is it the same link or different link?